This gaming PC is crazy, and let's get it unboxed so we can check it out. And look how tiny this is. That's so cool. So this is a mini PC from Cooler Master who's sponsoring this video, and it actually has some crazy specs built in, which I'm gonna be putting to the test at the end of this video. So make sure to watch all the way through. So they call this a shoebox form factor, which makes sense. It's not much bigger than your typical shoebox, but they say it still offers full-scale performance. And popping the side panel off, let's see what specs are in a PC this small. It looks like you actually are supposed to open it because they ship it with these little wedges in here to protect the parts. So let's get these pulled out of there. And we can see front and center here is a full-size RX 9070 XT GPU. So the official name for this thing is the Cooler Master N2R Pro Mini. And because this GPU is full-size and vertically mounted, which looks super cool, but I need to actually remove it to see all the other PC parts. Bro, this thing looks wild. So obviously the first thing you can notice is there's a ton of cables, but they honestly hide them pretty well because once the GPU goes in, you can't even see any of those. Also, because the PC is so small, you have to utilize every square inch. You can't make the PC like taller and then hide the cables somewhere else. So honestly, with that in mind, the cables are actually managed pretty well. Under this little cage is an 850 watt power supply. There's only enough room for 2 RAM slots, but this is still 32 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 megahertz RAM. This is a heatsink holding a 2 terabyte M.2 Gen 4 SSD. And then under this water cooler right here is an AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3D CPU, which of course ties into the almost full-size 280mm AIO mounted at the top. And they even added this special cage for the AIO fan, so even if a cable did happen to sneak up there, nothing would happen. And with all the mesh and airflow around the sides of the PCs, the GPU obviously has 3 fans, the AIO has 2 full-size fans, the water-cooled CPU cooler. So it's nice to see a mini PC that actually cares about optimizing the airflow, because some companies just make PCs as small as they can, but then after like 30 minutes, the PC is unusable because it gets so hot. I'm not gonna lie, building in one of these small cases sounds like an absolute nightmare. Like, shout out to whoever builds these. And the reason I really wanted this PC is because look at this. This is the coolest part. It's basically the same exact size as a PS5. So you think about how you can travel with the PS5, you can take it to hotel rooms, you can do whatever with it. This is basically that, but on steroids. For literally the same length and around double the width. Obviously, it's a bit thicker than this. But not only can I use this as a home PC setup, playing on 240 FPS, recording videos, streaming, doing everything at the same time because these parts are so powerful, I can also take it with me and have that same exact setup everywhere I would take my PS5. And bro, I somehow missed all this in the box. It looks like a bunch of extra cables, bunch of extra pieces, and they even give you a second option for the case for tempered glass side panels in case you don't want to use the mesh side panel. So that's actually pretty cool. If you care more about the aesthetics and having that like normal gaming PC look with the side panel where you can actually see in to see all the RGB and parts, they literally give you an option and ship a glass panel with it, and that actually looks so cool. Look, personally, I like to optimize for performance, so I'll probably go for the better airflow side and it'll just look more like this, but I can't lie, I don't blame you if you like this panel more. It looks really cool. But before I plug it in and test the PC, Cooler Master also dropped this, their MasterHub Creator Kit. And the reason they sent me this is because this in the PC you can actually buy as a bundle deal, which by the way, I'll have the link in the description and pinned comment to check out this PC and check out this. So it looks like this is the base piece and this is completely modular. They say you can use it as basically like a central hub for all your gaming, streaming, or like any sort of creative work. Like if you edit videos, do like digital art, do Photoshop, any of that. But that actually looks crazy. The buttons are like tactile to press. I can use these for whatever I want. I can use the audio sliders. And the coolest part is that you can adjust this in literally any orientation you want. So let's quickly get this all set up and see if it's actually as good as it looks.
So for my first test in Fortnite, I'm running 1080p 240 FPS on 240 Hz, and I'm using the brand new performance rendering mode, which is supposed to be better for AMD GPU and CPUs. And let's get our first initial builds, and oh yeah. First initial feel, I have 0 delay, my ping feels great, I feel like I have a great connection, no drop frames, everything feels super smooth. And the craziest part is I'm actually recording right now at the same time. Now I do just want to do a fun test. I always like to do this just to see kind of like a benchmark. I set my FPS FPS to unlimited. I am in just a creative map, but just staring at the sky, I'm getting 600 to 700 FPS, and that's while recording, by the way. And let's see, even in an actual game of Fortnite, even dropping in, I have 240 FPS. And it looks like even in fights, while recording in high quality, I'm not dropping any FPS, which on 240 is kind of insane. But now the real thing that this GPU is known for is 1440p gaming. I actually just recently started regularly gaming in 1440p and still on 240 FPS. Let's see if this can still keep up. And of course, the reason that you'd want to game in 1440p is because it looks and feels so much better and smoother. Especially on a bigger monitor, like basically anything over 27 inches, I feel like you have to game on 1440p for it to actually look good. And so far, I'm actually pretty impressed with this. The fact that I'm recording in super high quality, I'm gaming in 1440p on 240 hertz, it still feels like I have absolutely zero input delay. So on 240 FPS, 1440p gaming, let's see if I can get a full complete game right here. So I've been gassing up this PC, and I don't want you to think it's just because this video is sponsored. I've genuinely been looking for something just like this for almost 2 years. In fact, a lot of pro gamers and content creators get mini PCs built because they have much better performance over laptops, but they're still small enough to travel with if you move between houses, go on road trips, or go anywhere you need to bring your PC. So like, this is a PC that's obviously good enough for me to use at my main setup at home to record videos and game and stream on like I'm doing right now. But then I can also pack it up and take it with me to have a fully capable setup away from home as well, which is so underrated. And this is obviously a pre-built, which some people think a pre-built automatically means trash, but that couldn't be further from the truth in my opinion. Like, my experience in the first ever PC I built is I spent over $4,000 and my PC still, like 3 years later, has never worked right. I literally can't even edit videos on it because every single time I export them, the PC just crashes. I've spent an absurd amount of hours trying to troubleshoot the issues, but because I built it myself, I have basically nowhere to go for tech support. So I think the most underrated part about buying a pre-built is the fact that they have tech support willing to help you and a warranty if the PC has an issue. I mean, with the specs in this PC, like the 32 gigabytes of DDR5 Ram, the 2TB SSD, the high-end graphics card and CPU, like, this is gonna be a future-proof PC that you can use for years to come. But I find it super comforting that if there is an issue, there's a team that I can talk to that likely knows the solution to every problem this PC will have. Like, I've told myself in the past, I might not ever build another PC just so I can have that tech support perk. It's really hard to make these kinds of videos and not just sound super salesy, but as of now, I legitimately have zero complaints. This thing is awesome. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that's one of the smoothest Fortnite games I've played in a while. On 1440p while recording in OBS, I held 240 FPS the entire game. I don't think my game dropped a single frame. It didn't hitch a single time. And to be able to do all that on a PC that I can literally take everywhere, I can take my PS5. I can travel with this PC. Like, I'm about to go edit this entire video on this PC. And even though you guys haven't been able to see it, like, every time I pause my recording, I start my recording, I switch OBS scenes, I'm using this MasterHub. So that's been cool too. But honestly, I'm really impressed with this PC. So if you've been looking for a PC like this, I highly recommend checking this one out. And again, the link to that is in the top of the description and the pinned comment, along with the link to the bundle deal, which is where you can get the MasterHub as well, making the perfect streaming or recording setup. So a huge shout out to Cooler Master. I'm actually so excited to use this PC more in the future. And of course, thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way here to the end. I really appreciate you, and I hope to catch you in a future video.